Recently, Marvel getting a bit of backlash for its new show Ironheart, but now it is time to redeem themselves as their new movie came out, The Fantastic Four First Steps. And today I'll be going over this movie. At the start of the film, we learn that Fantastic Four got their powers during a space flight, which changed their DNA. We also learn at the time Susan Storm was having a baby. However, one day Silver Surfer would show up and basically say their planet's marked for death. Why? Well, she works for Galactus, and Galactus just wants to consume their planet, I guess. However, while she's leaving, the Human Torch would fly after her, and she would speak to him in her language. What she says is apparently a blessing, which means to die with yours. Anyway, then the Fantastic Four decides to get in a rocket ship to go stop Silver Surfer. However, for some reason they do take Susan Storm with her, which is probably the worst idea I've ever heard of. In space, they meet with Galactus, where they talk for a bit. Galactus then offers a deal. He'll let their planet live and will not eat it if they just give up their baby, to which they obviously say no. After that, they get into a fight, and they will manage to escape Silver Surfer by driving into a black hole. Also at this time, Susan Storm has the baby. Then they get back to Earth, where they tell them that they actually didn't stop Galactus. However, for some reason they do tell them that Galactus could have spared their planet if they just gave up their baby, which also sounds stupid. After that, the public gets really angry, and they're all protesting outside the Fantastic Four's house. Anyway, the Fantastic Four would be able to stop the protesters by giving a big speech about family. However, while I was watching this, I was just thinking, there's no way that would have worked. Family is important, no one cares. Anyway, then Mr. Fantastic comes up with an idea, which is to teleport Earth away from Galactus. To do this, they need to conserve power, which means lights off at 8 PM. However, on the day they tried to teleport, Silver Surfer would show up and would destroy everything. However, the Human Torch would make her go away by bonding with her. At this time, we also get a bit of Silver Surfer backstory. Apparently, her planet was spared from Galactus because she agreed to work for him. Anyway, now with the plan to teleport Earth away from Galactus scrapped, the new plan is to teleport Galactus away from the Earth. However, to do this, they need to use the baby as bait. This plan would end up going wrong though, as Silver Surfer would end up sacrificing herself to stop Galactus. Also, Susan Storm would die. The baby would be able to bring her back to life because the baby has powers. While I was watching this, I literally predicted that 2 seconds before it happened. Anyway, that would be the end of the movie except for a post-credit scene where we see Doctor Doom with the baby. Now, that's the end of the movie. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time for me to leave before Galactus eats my planet.